What up? It is Bones, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at all of my DC Universe Classics Batman figures and assorted lines, which will basically be DC Superheroes, DC Universe Classics, DC Signature Series, Batman Legacy, and some DC Unlimited figures. Now, I will not be doing the Mattel Multiverse because there is still some figures I want to open up and add to that line. But this is enough for today. Let's take a look at them. Hope you enjoy. All right, guys, let's do this. First up, you have this Batman from the DC Superheroes line. One interesting thing about this figure is that the hands are like a softer, rubbery plastic compared to later figures. Pretty cool pouch. I really like his face sculpt. Kind of a throwback to that original Mattel Batman line. Pretty cool. This ab part here, they never really use this anymore, but this is kind of like what we have now with the McFarlane Multiverse, is this kind of like swivel ab joint. So this was around even back then, which is pretty cool. I like that bat symbol. He is a shorter figure than most of them, and a pretty cool tread on the boots there. And there is a variant of this guy which is like a black version. I think it has a cloth cape, but I don't own that, so I've been on the hunt for that one, but I don't have it yet. No biggie. Then up next, you have one of the better Batman figures. This is also a DC Superheroes release. The blue and gray Batman with that awesome thick utility belt. Pretty cool tread as well. One of the better Batman figures. I like that head sculpt. Pretty awesome. And then this is basically the same figure. I think the only difference is the belt isn't as thick as the other one. Also, of course, the color scheme. It's a black and gray version. Enjoy this one as well. This one's pretty pricey online. This goes back to the DC superhero line. Then you have the Shadow Knight Batman, where he's pretty much murked out, all black, murdered out. He has the belt from the first figure, that thick belt. Pretty sweet figure. I do have this guy still in the package as well. Pretty cool. And then let's go into the DC Classics line, which, of course, the first one was this Batman. Now, this was released with two titles. One was the Crime Stopper Batman, and the other one was Detective Batman. I do own both, still in the package. But this is the quintessential Batman from the DCUC line. Pretty much your standard Batman. I never really liked the way they put the cape in the front here, but I got used to it. It's okay. The yellow emblem. No tread on the boots. They kind of like streamlined these figures. They made them more like to make them like multi-produced, what do you call it, mass-produced. Now there was a version of this figure that they showed at the toy fair, but they didn't actually release it. But it's basically like this figure. This is like a custom that I made, and he doesn't have that black shadow paint over the top of his cowl. Basically everything is the same. You can see that this is a different release because it has the number under that boot. So it was probably the later single packed no wave release. But I did customize this, and I put him that different head that doesn't have the black shadow, just to more represent that figure that they never released. But he is one of my favorite DC Batman figures. Then we'll get into this Batman Beyond figure. Now, I did customize this guy with some wings. These wings are actually from a Batman Beyond figure that I customized to fit on him. This is really one of my favorite DCUC Batman figures. Of course, this isn't Bruce Wayne. This is Terry McGinnis. But I always loved this figure. I've had it for a long time. Up there at my top 10 DCUC Batman figures ever released. He has like a shiny paint, like a glossy paint on him. I always loved that head sculpt. Now, I won't be getting into the Mattel line in this video because I have some figures that I want to open from the Mattel multiverse. And then I'll probably do a vid on all the Batman from the Mattel multiverse. So this is going to be more superheroes, DC Classic, DC Unlimited, and Batman Legacy. Pretty cool. One of my favorite Batman figures. Then you have the variant, the unmasked Terry McGinnis with his cowl. Like I say, I have that glossy paint. They did come with a Batarang. I do have them, but I have them in a baggie stored away, but I do have them. They get lost really easy, so that's why I don't have them out. But this was always one of my favorite figures. Pretty nice Terry McGinnis face sculpt. I think the only bad part was that they put him on such a big buck when he really should be like a slender, just slightly shorter figure, because he was more of a teenager. But still doesn't stop him from being one of my favorite Batman figures. And then we had the Wave 10 throwback to like the 89 Batman, all black with yellow. All the articulation on these is pretty much the same, but this one, I don't really like this one as much. It's not one of my favorite figures, but he's cool. Like I say, all these figures, I pretty much have them all in package still. And these are my loose collection. So just show these off. Then you have, this is from another wave from DCUC. It's the Yellow Lantern Batman. A lot of people complain because he has that scowling head, which is pretty not that good of a sculpt job. I mean, they could have made him grimacing, but not showing so much gums on his teeth. But this is what they released, so he's in the collection. He has his ring. I've been thinking of making a custom and swapping out his head for like a regular Batman head, which would kind of look, I guess you could say, it would be this head on this body. But I'll work on that. Not one of my favorites, but it's a pretty nice figure overall. Okay, then we had the Nightfall Batman. Of course, the difference is that he doesn't have the black on his cowl, and then he has this damaged chest painted on there. But the articulation is the same. The belt might be pure yellow, that's another difference. And I did end up making a custom, because if you actually look at the Nightfall Batman, sometimes he had this like shadow on his cowl. So I had an extra one, so I just went ahead and made this custom. Of course, this guy is from the 2-pack with Azrael, so we might as well get him in here. Of course, this is Jean Paul Vallée, so this isn't Bruce Wayne, but this is from the 2-pack. His red version. There is some comic images of him in this color, so he's not one of my favorite figures, but it's a nice one to have in the collection. And then this is actually from Wave 16, so it's the same figure, it's just more comic accurate, the colors. Pretty nice one to have in the collection. Pretty cool. Now, I have been working on a custom. It's not completely done, but this is more like a comic accurate version. Did some changes, like painted the lower parts black, and then these I actually made from the cables, and then I took the head from one of those shadow Batmans from the superheroes line and painted it up. So I'll keep working on this one. I'm not done with it, so once I'm done I might make a video on it. And then you had the 2-pack of Clayface and Batman. Now this figure gets a lot of hate. He's pretty cheap online, like probably like 12 bucks is the most you'll pay for him. But I use them a lot to do customs. This is from the 2-pack. That's why he's all damaged with mud splatter on him, clay splatter, whatever you want to call it. Now, this is basically the same figure as these next ones, except that the outline on the emblem you could see there, and the mud splatter, and also his skin tone is a little bit more tan compared to these. Now, the reason I have two of these is because there are two releases. One was from the Gotham City 5-pack, which is this one. You can see it still has the Mattel ink on there. And then this one is the same exact figure, but he has the serial number from the single card release, which was like the 75th anniversary, which I do own, still in package. But that's how I tell them apart. Then you get into the Batman Public Enemies line, where you had this black version. I do own a sealed package of this one as well. The difference is the bat's symbol a little bit different. I think he's a bulkier buck. You don't really see these muscles on the other ones. And then that more animated, big-jawed face, and his belt is like tan brown color. And then this is the blue version, which was like the alternate, what do you call it, the variant. The belt's more yellow. Basically the same though. Now the more you got down the line, you're getting into the later waves. I think this was the final. It wasn't really a wave. It was only 4 figures. But this was the kind of like all-star wave. You could tell from the color of the costume. It was the New 52 Batman. They changed up his cape, the way it goes over his neck, which I like that. I prefer this into the other figure. And then they changed the head sculpt, added some lining to the, and then he's a thinner buck. He's not as bulky as the other ones. Nice gloss on the gloves, on the gauntlets. The belt's kind of small, but that is more reminiscent of the 52. And they put him back some tread on his boots. I actually like this one. Now, this is the exact same figure, but this is from the DC Unlimited, which I still have one in package. And it's just a different gray, like metallic color is the only difference. And then this one, it's actually, a lot of people don't know about this, but this is a completely different figure. The paint anyways, it's more like a dull silver, like dull gray. And this is actually from, I think, like a 5-pack of Batman. So even though it is the same sculpt and everything from the other two, he's actually a different color, and the plastic feels like a little bit different. It's not the same plastic. This was a different figure, but there are 3 different colors if you want to see them all together. Tell the difference. So you have the DC Universe Classics All-Stars, and then you have the Unlimited, and then you have that 5-pack figure. Now this one is actually the Batman from the Dynamic Duo 2-pack with Robin. Basically, they just changed the symbol, made it like a wider bat symbol, and the belt, that high yellow belt. He's a nice one though. This one would be up there on my favorite Batmans. Then you have this one, which is actually a single pack release from the 75th anniversary. You could tell by the belt, which is more of a brown with gold trim. But it has that same bat symbol as the Dynamic Duo one. I like that one. And then you have this Batman, which is actually from the Superpowers that Matty Collector released. So he has his own blue. The blue's the difference. It's like a lighter blue with the actual outlined oval. And the belt is a little different. It has like capsules. Pretty sweet Batman figure though. That blue's awesome. What I've always wanted to do is to have one of these, but with this bat emblem on the chest. So I might custom that one day, but I'd have to get another one of these DC Superpowers Matty Collectors Batmans. And then I will get into the later, like Batman Legacy and DC Unlimited figures. Of course, this one is from the show, the Batman Beware the Batman series. They never really made any figures of that animated series, so this is like one of the only ones. But it was released on the Unlimited line. Some weird treads on there. And then you have this, the first appearance of Batman. So he's more like from the, what was it, 40s or the late 30s, 40s. Batman, when he actually used like a little revolver. That was I added that to that. But he has those purple gloves and like weird cowl. Actually a pretty nice figure though. I mean, I like him. His belt's like really different. They never really used that belt on any other figures. I like this one. And then you have, I think this is the Silver Age Batman. He kind of looks like the Batman Brave and the Bold. That different chest emblem. Pretty sweet. He did come with this Batmite. Cool. And then we have, now this is actually the DC Multiverse Super Friends Batman that I customize, and I put him the DC Classics kind of cape on him. I just like the way these capes look better than a cloth cape, which is what they actually come with. Not a real big fan of those cloth capes, but I had to match the paint. It came out pretty good. I actually like this one. Pretty sweet. Now this is actually from the Signature series that Matty Collector put out, and this is Bat Zorro. Everything is upside down. But look at that. That cowl sculpt. It's pretty sick. I like that Batman symbol that it's upside down, but it's pretty sweet. I like that one. It's not that great, but not bad. Up next is that, what is it, Reign of Blood Batman, where he's like a vampire. It's hard to keep this dagger without losing it. But he's pretty cool. Those long ears, the wings, the slimmer body. Cool. Then you have, what's his name? Kazar or something like that. Is it a Planet X Batman? It's a different head sculpt from all the others. Weird costume. Little radio on his belt. Oh, and he came with this Batmite, but he's black and gray. These are actually articulated. You can move his head and his arms. His little feet. This is from the DC Unlimited. I'm not sure. I might have one of these in package. I don't think I do, though. I might. Then you have, this was a DC Legacy, a Batman Legacy. But you could see how they used that grimace face and just put it on that old superhero's buck. So I have used this one to do a custom Thomas Wayne. I'll be showing that figure on another video. But I don't like that head sculpt, but the body's pretty cool. I guess he's alright. And then I'm not sure if it's Batman Legacy, Arkham Asylum. Or Batman Unlimited. Then you have the, what is it, Injustice Batman from the, this is the DC Unlimited. Of course, they had a couple. They have Superman, Joker, Darkseid, Green Lantern. I do have all those loose. He's just really whole different sculpt, but he's real slender. And then these are like a little bit smaller than the other figures. There you can see the difference. Okay. Final stretch. It's gonna be the Frank Miller Batman Returns Batman. This was on a Motu buck. Nice tread on the boots there. Love that big oval. Yeah, I like this one actually. It's kind of one of my favorite ones. Not too bad. And then I think this was a DC Unlimited. Same Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns But this is after he beats the crap out of the mutant leader. He changes to this suit. Not too shabby. And then this is also from Dark Knight Returns, but this is the armored Batman that fights Superman at the end with his gun, sonic gun. It does have some articulation in there. Not too much, but that one's okay. Now, they released a Flash figure from the Dark Knight Returns, and he came with this alternate Bruce Wayne head. So I actually swapped out the heads, and then I painted out his helmet so he could have it like holding in his hand, which is pretty cool. It does have articulation. It's pretty cool. And that's basically it. That's it for all my Batmans, except for the Mattel Multiverse. But here is a custom that I made using the DC Universe Classics parts. This is my White Lantern Batman, and it's actually using the Hal Jordan White Lantern and Batman gauntlets and head and boots. This is one of my better customs that I'm really happy with. But I did make them from pure DCUC parts. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that. Next time we'll be taking a look at all of my Superman DC Universe Classics figures. Stay safe out there, keep collecting, and I'll see you on the next one.